What would you hope to accomplish in your first 6 months as superintendent?
In the first 6 months, after starting off with being visible and making sure that I have done my best to be a familiar face in the district, I would, like I had already said, to make policy and just the general workings of the district a priority and find out from the board what are your priorities for me. I would engage myself in the community so that I'm also visible and known to the community, and I would start tackling in a priority fashion the items that we had identified together, myself and you as the board, and start action planning those things. So by the end of the first 6 months, our action plan should be complete so that we could start going forward on that plan.
Thank you.
So, if you have a particular way you like having things done, such as certain protocols and procedures, how would you handle a situation when somebody says to you, it's not how we do that in Taylor, or it's not the Taylor way?
I would expect that would happen, which is why I learned this a long time ago to listen more than I talk. And I am a talker, so I had to really take that message seriously because I need to understand how it's done in Taylor. And I need to really pay attention and find out, because maybe the way it's done in Taylor is better than my way. And maybe the way it's done in Taylor needs to be something that I take a good hard look at, and then I need to find out if I still believe that whatever I have to offer could have a benefit, then I need to use my leadership to explain that and see if those that said, we don't do it that way in Taylor, would have an interest and continue to work at that through collaboration, through example, through research, through things that I can share and show that would eventually, if it's best for the organization, convince those who are saying to me that's not how we do it in Taylor to say, wow, Doni, let's try that. Or I would say, wow, Mr. Zorn, let's do it the way we do it in Taylor.
All right, next one is discuss how you would go about right-sizing a district.
And we talked about the redistricting, and I did some investigation into that. And definitely, if there has been a loss of students in certain geographic spaces within the district, then it takes some time with everyone to sit down and talk about it. And there can be a lot of emotion in that if it's always been a certain way. And so that's when you really have to have examples of how it's been done in other places. You have to share and show how this could be of benefit, and you have to let people talk. You have to let them share what they think. And so to right size, you want to prove and show how it's going to benefit the kids. And so it does actually, Mr. Honeycutt, boil down to numbers. And you have to have those numbers accurate. And if you can show accuracy with your numbers, and then you can share and show how it's going to benefit the kids, you will be able to move the needle.
Okay.
You will be able to.
Thank you.
My turn. Do you have a specific way of improving achievement scores you have done in your past as a district leader?
Yes. Things that we did in the past had to do with knowing where students have weaknesses, identifying and developing strategies to address those weaknesses. That's one thing. And then you have to pay attention to those children and how they're doing. The other thing is goal setting with students, pre and post testing, having district assessments that are reliable and valid. All of those things together make a difference. And it isn't teaching to the test in a direct fashion, but it certainly is knowing what students need to know and keeping a monitor on them when they don't, so that you can intervene. And it is definitely teacher-led, it's definitely teacher-created in some cases, and it's supported by administration, but teachers have a great deal of involvement in the process. So if we compare that to state testing, teachers are not in charge of that. So state testing is, out there, and we have to be respectful of that. But in order for students to necessarily have success, teachers have to have control and involvement with what they do with students to help them see success at the end of the day.
Okay, what do you think is the biggest challenge for our district, and how would you approach it?
I'm still going to say student achievement. And I believe that it's going to take the collaboration with the curriculum leaders in the district and our teachers and teacher leaders in the district to really look at where do we have the gaps and holes and what do we feel will be our best strategies and interventions to make a difference, and then make that action plan, and then have the support of the board and the leadership team and go after it.
We know that data is important, but could you tell us what you use for input on your decisions and recommendations besides data?
Definite opinions from stakeholders, guidance of the board, the community's vibe, so to speak, but your community definitely wants to feel as if your school is a shining point of the community. So if your community is feeling a great deal of pride for the school, then you can do great things with that.
As superintendent, you will need to learn a lot in a quick amount of time on the job. Where would you start, and what do you think, what do you think your first steps would be?
I learn a lot by walkabouts. That's a good way to say it. I don't believe there's anything more valuable than face-to-face with people. And so that goes back to that visibility right from the get-go. Talking with people, getting out there, getting into the schools, having sit-downs with the individual school leaders, just having discussions. So much can be gleaned and gained from just being face-to-face with people.
Thank you.
So what questions have we not asked that we should have, and what's your response?
I want you to ask why me. I want you to ask me that. So, you just
Okay,
asked me
why you?
why me? why you, Doni? And you asked me that, and I want to tell you that every time when I start looking at your website, or I dig deeper into what you're doing here, I do feel like this district calls me. And it calls me because I was 19 years in Grayling. And Grayling is Taylor, shrunk down. You know, even though the surrounding area of Grayling isn't as large of a city or anything like that, the free and reduced lunch is similar. The attitude of the students, similar. So many things similar that I feel like everything that I was doing there and how exciting everything got when we started making the changes would be something that could happen here. Not the same because it's a different place, but similar. And then I also think about the things that I got to do in Clare when we did our bond, we turned the budget around. There's just things, and I feel like the experiences that I've had have sort of been a foundation to build me to be here. Other reasons why me. I absolutely am a people person, and I know it's important to you. I can just tell from the last time that I was here that you want someone who is visible. and connecting with your community, connecting with your district. And I absolutely do that and enjoy that. And I enjoy the students as well. I want to do those things for you. So I feel as if you chose me, there wouldn't be a day you'd be disappointed. Not one day that you would have that's disappointing. And I'm so ready. I've had some time to reflect. I've had some time to take my comp exam for my doctorate. I'm just so ready to have this opportunity. Thank you for asking that question.
We have a few questions from the audience. And board members, you can ask the same ones that you had